Okay, if it is Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, of course, that can mean just one thing. It's time for the goRIA live stream. I'm Chuck Vela. And as always, I'd like to take this time on Wednesday afternoons to kind of put some attention on what is new on www.goria.com. And this week, we have a really good treat. We have April Rudin, the founder, of course, of the Rudin Group, and a very well-known marketing guru. And in just a moment, I'm going to play a little snippet of the podcast that just dropped this morning. But in broad strokes, what we talked about is marketing your new RIA. Now, a lot of the things we do here on goRIA can, of course, be applicable to the BD side of things, right? So it's not all just RIA. But what I do like to highlight is when we're talking about something such as marketing, which clearly crosses the borders, right? BD advisors market, RIA advisors market. But what we do talk about in this podcast with April are some of the differences, and some of them are not insignificant, on how you're able to market your RIA, perhaps with some more freedoms that you would perhaps not have in the BD space. But here's a little taste of what April and I talked about. Okay, with that said, April, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chuck. Great to see you, and it's a pleasure to be here on my favorite topic, marketing.
Oh, and my favorite topic, RIA. It's like the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, goes better together, right?
Totally. That's us.
So having said that, and I'm really glad that you've taken some time to be on the show here. I know you are the marketing guru. So how have you seen marketing in the RIA space, perhaps different, compare and contrast, if you will, to the broker-dealer space? What would you say about that?
Well, the main difference is, of course, that for independent RIAs, they are more or less in charge of their own marketing, which can be very good. It's definitely less compliance driven. It's definitely more ability to be creative and a greater ability to be more personalized in terms of your marketing, your outreach, and your brand and all of that. On the other hand, though, many people who do go RIA are not sure about marketing. So that the guidance and the way that you do that needs to be very carefully drawn out. So I always like to say the planners need a plan on that as well. And so I think that really is the fundamental those are the two big differences there.
Mm-hmm. So definitely sort of a good news, bad news, right? I guess the good news is you could do whatever you want. Maybe the bad news is you could do whatever you want. So it's going from I am so limited, I can't do this, I can't do that, to now you're almost like a kid in a candy store, right? You can do all kinds of stuff. You want to do a podcast? Do it. You want to do some live streams? Do it. You want to do a blog? Do it. But now you have to almost pare it down, right? It gets a bit like drinking from a fire hose. What kind of guidance would you give advisors looking to go RIA as they're now putting together a marketing plan that has less restrictions, but also perhaps maybe some pitfalls they got to watch out for?
So great question, Chuck. Well, I always say to people, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it, right? So just like everyone else, RIAs and financial advisors have a lot of different competing priorities for their time. The question would be, just thinking about it like asset allocation, is the time that you're going to put into it worth the return that you might get out of it? So I think it's really important to think about marketing and all the elements of a marketing plan. Sometimes I like to think of it like vegetable soup, right? You're going to put in a bunch of different vegetables, taste it, and then you can correct for that because we have digital now. So you're not as committed to, printed brochures and some of the things that were more prevalent for marketing in the old days. The other thing
so again, that's just a little taste of what April and I chatted about. But if you go to www.goria.com, you'll be able to hear the full podcast that just dropped this morning. And while you're there at goria.com, check out some of the recent podcasts we've had. We had some great ones. Michael Kitts is one that we just dropped the week before last. Diana Cabrisi. Oh boy, there's a whole bunch here. I'm kind of there's just so many, they all don't come to mind. So go to www.goria, check them out, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. So until next week, on behalf of goRIA, fueled by investment news, I'm Chuck Vela, and I will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.